job sequencing analysis using Microsoft Excel. For example, you have, say, 6 jobs, A, B, C, D, and E, F. They're going to be processed by a particular operator or by a machine. They all arrived and they have processing time, and their due date is given right here. So there are a few ways you can arrange them. So which order should a machine process this job or a person should do, so that you can finish the job within the shortest amount of time, or you're not late for so many jobs and things like that. So here are a few ways you can organize them. So in Excel, I will show each of these and calculate some parameters so that we can decide which is the best way to process this job. So let me first explain quickly what are these. So first come first serve is very common. For example, in a barber shop, you're going to get your haircut, and whoever shows up first get the service first. As simple as that. The last come first serve, if you have been to a ferry crossing river, carrying buses and trucks to the other side of the river, and then usually the one actually I have experienced with, the car or bus that enter the last actually get out of the ferry first. Another typical example would be, let's say there is a machine and jobs are coming for that machine, and there is a bench. It is a stack pile on that bench. So usually it is easy to get the last job because it's sitting on the top of the pile. So it is very difficult to get the bottom job because it's all the way down, so it's difficult to get. So it's kind of a convenience to get that job, the one came last. So that could be an example for last come first serve. Earliest due date, as simple as we have this psychology that, oh my god, this job number B is due tomorrow, so let's get it done, that one first. The shortest processing time is another psychology of us. We try to think of, okay, I got 6 jobs to do, let's do the one takes the least amount of time. So I can say, okay, I can do this A and B and then done. I only have 4 jobs left to do. So sometimes that psychology pushes us to work on the shortest processing time. Slack could be another way. For example, how many days do I have before the deadline? So for example, job C has the highest amount of slack. So it is due 12 days from now, and then it takes 4 days to process. So we have about 8 days. So it's not due, so we'll do it the last. Critical ratio is similar to slack. So let's go ahead in Excel and show you how to do this calculation. So here is this data I copied from that PowerPoint. So it's very simple. If you have Excel, we'll see some beauty of Excel, how to work smartly, perform the analysis. Which one out of this 6 processing method, which one give us the best option for us, so that which way we should arrange, what are these jobs, which one should be done first. So we'll calculate some parameter using Excel and then decide based on that. So start date, let's say we start from today's date is 0, and then we'll create a column called completion. So in the completion, so if today is 0 date, so we'll do today plus the time, the processing time. So job A will be done 2 days from now, and then we can start job B. By the way, this is the first come first serve. We're not changing any job order. So I'll just, instead of job, I'll type first come first serve, so that we know this is the analysis for that. So the completion, when A is done, we start the B, and then we can simply just keep going like that, keep going like this. Done. So now we're going to calculate the tardiness of each of these jobs. So if it's tardiness, so whether a job is late or not, so that is simply basically the due date minus the completion date. Now that would be the completion date minus the due date. So this job A is not late. That's why it is showing negative. Now in the calculation, we don't use negative. It's difficult to compare. So instead we'll set 0. We'll say, okay, this job is not late. It is done 1 day early. So it's not late. So we're going to use an Excel function called if this is a negative number, give us 0. Tell me, so if this is a negative number, then give me 0. So that we'll say, okay, it's 0, so it's not late. Now, if it's a otherwise, give me whatever I have here. So like that. Now I can copy this all the way down. And then that will give me the total lateness or tardiness of the job. Now, there are some parameters to calculate. So, for example, the total tardiness, we can simply just sum of all these days. That will give us the number of days. So, the total tardiness is 22. We can calculate the average tardiness. Simply, we can do the average like that. Just average this will give us the average tardiness. And then the maximum tardiness. Simply we can type the max and then copy these cells. It will pick the maximum tardiness. Well, we can also calculate the number of tardy job. Simply we'll count all these numbers. Those are not 0. So we'll say count if. We'll use a function called count if this if not 0. So we'll set that condition as if greater than 0, then count it for me. And then there is another parameter called average flow time. So for each of these jobs, so that is basically the average of this completion of each of these jobs. So that's the average flow time. So I think that's all the parameters we need. And then so this is first come first serve, and then similarly we'll calculate it for the earliest due date, shortest processing time, and so on, and all these parameters. Now to do that, we can simply, you will see the beauty of Excel. We can copy this and paste it here, and then basically do just a very simple. So in this case, we are doing the earliest deadline. We are processing the one that is due first. So we'll sort this based on the due date, and it should fix all the calculation for us. So we'll do based on the due date. Oops, nothing was selected. Like that. So it's done. So that's the beauty of Excel. You calculate that, and then next we'll do it based on the shortest processing time. So we'll name it as shortest processing time, and then simply we'll sort these 3 columns based on the processing time, and then done. And then the only calculation left is the slack. So again, paste it here. Now we don't have the slack parameter here, so we'll create a column here, name as slack, and then this one obviously is slack. Well, we'll just name it job, otherwise we'll have problem to source. So slack is simply the due date minus the start date today, which has to be frozen. So I'm going to freeze that before and after $, minus the processing time. So number of days I have before that job is done. So this is the slack. Now it looks like it's already sorted based on slack. I don't know. Let me check. So that is, no, that's fine. So it is just by chance. Otherwise, what you have to do is basically select these 4 and then sort based on slack. So like that. Well, no, it's not. There was something changed. Oh, so here is this 3 jobs has the same slack days. In that case, the first come first serve. So we have to basically sort it, add another level there is based just job. That was the first come first serve. Well, yeah, so ABCD was first come first serve, so we're gonna just do that. So this now, so if it's the same select, then they should be done as first come first serve. So this is the select parameter and everything is calculated. So I have put everything here in this summary page, all these parameters that we have calculated. Now you can analyze and see which one is the best option. First of all, first come first serve looks like the worst one. You have the number of days 30, 22, the average 30, the maximum 30 is more. The only thing flow time is more, so which is worse. The only thing low is the number of job 30. However, the earliest and the shortest processing has the same thing too. So I'm going to basically just hide this. That's not a good option. The second best option would be out of these three. Now, if you're worried about the total 30 days, then that would be the best option. Also, the flow time is lowest out of these. It has the lowest 30 job as well. The average tardiness low. However, the only problem is this maximum 30 days for one particular job was 9 days behind. If that's not an issue, then you can select that. If that's a big issue, then you have to compare between these two. It depends on the objective. If that's a bigger issue, then it cannot be 9 days left. Then you have to think between these two. So it depends on the objective, what you want to do for what you want to achieve. Out of these two, I can see that this earliest is the best option. It has the lowest flow time, lowest number of 30 job, and then lowest number of everything is low. So this would be the earliest would be the best options. Now again, it depends on your optimization or objectives of the problem. It could be that the best option, the one we didn't even think of first, like this one. Well, no, that's not an option. So out of these three, anyway, so you get the idea. So based on these parameters, you can decide on which is the best order that these 6 jobs to be processed by this machine or this operator.